Good evening and welcome to the Let's Go Racing Motorsports Report. I am Mike Babicz, your host, and this is our final show of 2024. Where's it gone? Well, we've had a lot of racing, a lot of guests on over the course of the year, and we got a lot of big things planned for 2025. And this is also our holiday show. Over there is our boot. That boot was my boot that went down in our living room when I was a wee infant, less than a year old. And it has maintained and stayed with us all these years. So that is there with its Wilmot Speedway hat on. And then there is the glowing snowman with his Babicz Auto Racing Services presented by Larry Roebuck car show hat. And the lights kind of change, but I don't know how well they're showing up on our holiday show. But we want to give a big thank you to all of our great sponsors and supporters that have helped us come on the air each and every week. And of course, Kent from 216 to the Net. He is the guy behind the scenes. He can bring himself out of the behind the scenes anytime he wants to, but he does do a lot for me and has gotten the show on each and every time we've been on. Of course, we're monthly now during the off season. We'll be on the first Monday in January, the first Monday in February, probably the first Monday in March, and then starting up tentatively in April, we'll go back to weekly, maybe, because I'm actually going to be out of the country for a little while in April with my wife Kathy. We're going on a cruise, a Mediterranean cruise, so we'll work all that out unless we can do the show from the ship. I don't know what time change. We'll have to figure all that logistics stuff out. But thanks to Kent and everybody with 216 The Net. Also, Hartnell Chevrolet. They came on board toward the end of the season and are looking forward to some big things that we're going to be announcing and planning in 2025 with Hartnell Chevrolet. John Hatterline, attorney at law. He can help you whether you're in Wisconsin or Illinois. He's licensed in both. And of course, B&L Office Furniture. Scott Carpenter giving us this nice studio that has gone on the road with us from time to time. But again, thanks, Scott, for all your help. Great Lakes Dragaway, Randy and Connie and John. John's going to be on with us shortly. Thank them for their support all season long. And I am actually going to be doing some announcing over at Great Lakes Dragaway in 2025 from time to time. So I'll be looking forward to seeing folks out there at a little bit different type of racing venue for me. Steve Sinclair and the Bumper to Bumper IRA Outlaw Sprint Cars. The first event that they announced came at their banquet just a couple of weeks ago, and that's going to be the Glenn Hefner Memorial, and that will be on Saturday, April the 26th. It's the Bumper to Bumper IRA 410 Sprint Cars, plus the Badger Midgets, plus the Dirt King late models. That'll be on Saturday, April the 26th. The following weekend is tentatively scheduled to be Wilmot Raceway season opener. What classes are running on May 3rd will be announced very, very soon. And also on Sunday, May the 4th, will be the annual Let's Go Racing Motorsports and Custom Car Show presented by Larry Roebuck. Once again, we're going to be down by the lake at Lake Michigan, the Waukegan Harbor Marina, and at the Greentown Tavern on the Rocks. Thanks to Robbie Kutzler working that out with me and Bob from Greentown. And again, stay tuned. We're going to give you more information about that event that'll be coming up to start the racing season off in May, on May the 4th, Sunday afternoon. Also, we want to thank Wilmot Raceway supporting us this year, and we'll be working with them once again in 2025. And they've got a big 75th anniversary season schedule that they're putting together and will be announced very soon. They still are taking advance tickets. You can get a reduced ticket price for the banquet that'll be coming up on January the 4th, which I'm looking forward to emceeing on Saturday, January 4th at the Brat Stop. Again, go to wilmotraceway.com or check out their Facebook page, and you can get advance tickets. It can save you $5 if you purchase them, I believe, in the next couple of weeks. I think the deadline is right around December 20th. Also, Fox Lake Harbor, Dave Mullis and his fine crew, the Hunt Club of Richmond, where we did a remote, and we'll probably do a remote in 2025 out at the Hunt Club of Richmond. Midwest Motor Coach and Olson Transportation. Rob Olson and his fine crew do an excellent job supporting the Lake County Honor Flight in transporting them from North Chicago up to Mitchell Airport and back. And they'll be having their events once again in April, August, and October of 2025. So you can go to LakeCountyHonorFlight.com for more information. And also the Badger, I believe it's called the Badger Honor Flight, also goes out of Milwaukee. BJ Johnson, who heads up the fire and paramedic and ambulance safety team, that is, at Wilmot Raceway. You can contact BJ for more information on how to get on that honor flight as well. MLS Auto Clinic, Eddie and Debbie Boyd always do a great job. Bodycraft, Mark and Tony Maglio. Yeah, they're going to get my car next week to do some work on it. Raccoon lost, car won, but Raccoon did a little damage to the car, so we're going to get that taken care of next week at Bodycraft, thanks to Mark and Tony Maglio. We mentioned Waukegan Harbor Marina, where we'll be going next year. Also, Kaylee Burns, who's going to be trimming up Papa's hair in the next couple of days, and she's located in the salon just to the north of Highway 11 and 1175 intersection up there in Kansasville. And speaking of 1175, they are going to be hosting the IRA Lightning Sprints banquet this coming Saturday night. And I'll be emceeing that. Looking forward to a lot of fun there at 1175 Sports Complex. And you can go to the IRA Lightning Sprints Facebook page or website for more information on tickets for Saturday night. Impressions Count. Randy and his crew do a great job in downtown Antioch. Weeby Waxon, Chad. Buddies of McHenry. Culvers of Paddock Lake. Yes, we will be returning there with some type of a show at some point in 2025. A-Main Apparel and Diecast. Garrett and the Tennyson family. Garrett does a great job, and they've got some special things going on right now for the holidays. So go to A-Main Apparel and Diecast Facebook page or website for more information on that. Cabins on the Lake, great place to get away up there in Friendship, Wisconsin. The Northern Illinois Council on Alcoholism and Substance Abuse. Actually, earlier I said it was the Badger Honor Flight. It's the Stars and Stripes Honor Flight that BJ is involved with. 5-Star Race Car Bodies. Daniel Sanchez, Carl and Corey Schultz. They do a lot to help people in the racing community, and they also hire a lot of folks that work in the racing community. So contact them if you're looking for a job in auto racing. Nielsen Enterprises, Ted Nielsen and all the fine staff at Nielsen Enterprises in Lake Villa. They are also hiring as well, and if you want to get in touch with them, they can help you out. Lake County Hose and Equipment, Bill Fusting down there in Beach Park does a great job. Also does some racing at Great Lakes Dragaway from time to time. RC Electronics, we appreciate their support with radios that help us out. And I also had earlier mentioned Cabins on the Lake. Going to start things off before we get John on the program with us. It's just been a rough last month or so for me personally and for a lot of folks in the racing community. Had some folks that have passed away. Mike Coulott, who was involved with me on a committee here in the Village of Antioch for several years, a long time involved in real estate and just gave a lot to the community. He passed away. Dick Kessler, who is a multi-sport official that I had the pleasure of officiating with over the years. And he also was a coach in the Antioch area. And he passed away. Sharon Bazowski, the wife of Rudy Bazowski, a very close friend of mine, passed away a couple of weeks ago. Stephen Tennyson, Garrett's grandfather and Cody's grandfather, and of course they have other siblings as well. And Stephen is the father of Tom Tennyson and Tom's brother as well. So our thoughts and prayers go out to the Tennyson family. He passed away a few weeks ago. Dick Dustin, we had mentioned that earlier in the shows back in the summertime. Dick Dustin, a past champion at Wilmot and with the IRA, passed away, while his wife, Patricia, passed away within the last couple of weeks. And then, of course, we had mentioned Glenn Hefner before, and the Glenn Hefner Memorial coming up on April 26th. A good friend to both Kent as well as Coach Papa, Tim Stewart, and a lot of folks in Lake County and Libertyville. Tom Godfrey passed away suddenly on Thanksgiving Day after having suffered a stroke, just 63 years old. And our thoughts and prayers go out to his wife, Michelle, and his daughters. And Tom's was going to be a grandpa in May. So to that new child that'll be coming to this world, that I'm sure we'll hear a lot of great stories and a lot of smiles about Tom Godfrey. When it came to IT, Tom was the guy I called. He always was able to help me with any kind of IT questions. I know he got to meet Kent, actually substituting for me in a golf outing, and the two of them hit it off quite well. And that's how Tom was, and how we will remember Tom. A guest of ours on the Village Business Network, a networking group that we have a couple of Wednesdays a month. And again, thoughts and prayers go out to Tom's family. And he's definitely going to be sorely missed. He did a lot for the community, a lot for me personally, and in a roundabout way, a lot for the racing community too, because a lot of times my questions would be about racing related things. So anyway, don't forget also the Midwest Racers Auction is this Friday and Saturday in Davenport, Iowa. So if you're a racer and you're looking to get rid of something, you can still go to their website, I think, Midwest Racers Auction. They've got another auction coming up later on in West Bend in January, but they will be having their big auction this Friday and Saturday in Davenport, Iowa. So again, you can check that out. Also did speak with Steve Sinclair, and he said he met with Chris Klemko and officials from the Wilmot Raceway last week, and or earlier, last week now it was. Very good meeting, and you're going to be hearing some announcements from both Wilmot and the IRA as to schedules of events that'll be at the original home of the Interstate Racing Association, Wilmot Raceway, which traditionally holds the Founders Night. And the Founders Night will once again be part of the 75th anniversary season schedule for Wilmot Raceway, which I'm sure will be announced soon, if not at the banquet on January 4th. So even though we're in the off season, a lot of stuff still happening in the world of racing. But you also want to take some time and just relax and enjoy the holidays and what it's all about. And also, if you're interested, Rely Local, you can always contact me for information about Rely Local. I don't think I've forgotten anybody. If I've forgotten anybody, Kent will text me and tell me you forgot so-and-so, and we'll take care of them. But we are putting together our partners for 2025. If you're interested, you can get in touch with Kent. You can get in touch with me, and we'll get you involved. All righty. Now we're going to bring John into the studio, and John, great to have you on. But can you imagine when we talked for the first time back in April, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, somewhere around there. Yeah.
Somewhere around there. Who would have thunk that, we'd be sitting here on the first Monday in December, December 2nd, with temperatures in the teens,
Yeah.
wind chills, and I know Randy and Connie, they stuck in there and kept racing as long as they could, but finally Mother Nature won a couple of weeks ago. Actually, I think the week just before Thanksgiving, I think, is when they finally called it quits.
Yeah, November 22nd, they pulled the plug. Yeah.
But I'll tell you, first of all, fill us in on the kind of year that it was at Great Lakes Dragway for the Dragway in general, and for yourself personally with the Brew City Gassers. I know both had a pretty successful year, I would say.
Yeah, it was a good year at the track. There did a lot of track rentals, which really help a lot and pay some of the bills, and they got that going on during the week. And pretty much a lot of the races, a few of them we got nailed with rain, unfortunately. But, what are you going to do? You can't change Mother Nature. So some we did, but it actually worked out pretty well all through the season. And the last few weeks, we had some pretty unseasonably warm weather. So we had a lot of fun racers on Saturdays and Sundays in the end of the year, people trying to get in before I did it myself too. I took my engine out to freshen it up, and I put my spare in there, and I thought, I'm going to go out there and make sure it works. So it actually works really well. It goes faster than the one I had in there. So it's like, well, so now I got to do some upgrades to that one. Not only just to freshen up, I'm going to have to get it dialed in a little bit better, but yeah.
Well, that's super. And I know we've already talked about, and if you've got anything in front of you, some cheat notes or whatever, or anything that Randy's mentioned you so far about the schedule for 2025, when folks can expect the Dragway to open up in the spring. And also, I know we've talked already about some pretty big events that are planned on the calendar in 2025.
Yeah, one of the things I want to mention right away, because it's kind of time sensitive, is what they do at Great Lakes Dragway is they have fun racer passes for the season passes. They also have family passes. They have a racer combo pass where you could have one racer and one spectator. And then they also, there's like 4 different ones. You can get a whole family pass or a single spectator pass if you just want to come out and spectate. And it's right now until January 1st, they're like half price. And it's a really good deal if you want to go out to the track, especially if you want to bring your family out there. I mean, I buy one to go out there and test with my car. I mean, it pays for itself right away. And then it gets you into the major events other than the private ones. You can go out there and spectate if you're not racing, and it's really a good deal. And that kind of helps us in the off season. We sell the season passes, and that does a lot of renovations during the off season while the track is closed. Although we are still drifting on Sundays if the guys want to come out there and drift. They usually drift from 10:30 to 4:30. Check the Facebook page is a good thing to do with that. And also the general store is open on Sundays from 10:30 to 4:30. You can get the season passes online, or you can go out to the store on Sunday and pick them up if you'd like to. But yeah, that's a couple of the big things. And then January 1st, we do a Pinewood Derby out there in the pavilion. They have the kids go out there and they have the track set up, turn on the wood burner in there in the furnace. So it's nice and warm, and they do their first of the year kickoff with the Pinewood Derby cars. So that's pretty cool too.
Well, that sounds like a lot of fun. I mean, over the years, I've announced a number of Pinewood Derbies at various venues and with various scout troops. I mentioned Tom Gottfried earlier passing away. Tom was a Eagle Scout. Okay. And actually, his family has requested, in lieu of flowers, that people make donations to the Scouts. They're based in northeastern Illinois, and I was fortunate enough to actually be their auctioneer at their gala that they had in November, in the first part of November, and that was a lot of fun. That evening. So, a lot of people that don't realize people were Scouts. Have been Scouts, and we get a lot of racers that started in Pinewood Derbies, don't we, John?
Yeah, you bet. And still, some of the racers that are racers go out there with their Pinewood Derby cars and do that too. So it's kind of fun. Yeah, it's always a good time out there. And then there'll be their winter fest with the snowmobiles and that later in January. Randy's working on the schedule. I think he's probably got it pretty close to being finished now. We got our schedule for next year, and like you were saying, some exciting things coming this year. One of the things a couple of things we're gonna have going on is the Funny Car Chaos Final will be at Great Lakes Dragway in September. That'll be the last race. One of their last race will be the finals there, and then we also have a Nitro dragster group that's going to come out for the Time Machine Nationals in August, which is they're really exciting. And the Wisconsin Outlaw Street that Steve Roden and his group puts on there, that's growing. They're going to add a couple classes to that, and they're also going to have the stick shift challenge again on one of the events, which is always really fun to watch. Somebody get win the money for the quickest stick shift. And that's last year. I think there was 30 some cars in that. That was pretty exciting. So it should be the schedule is going to be full, and it should be some really good, exciting racing going on this year.
Well, and then, I mentioned this, I believe, briefly to Randy, but I'll toss it out to you now too. What we're going to do is there's a group called Sleep in Heavenly Peace. I don't know if you've heard of them, John. They're based in Racine, is where they actually build the beds, and then they distribute them to underprivileged kids, families. They've been doing a lot of work east of the I, but they want to expand and go west of the I.
Okay.
And so last year they had an event at Wilmot on championship night. They put a number of beds together in one of the exhibition buildings on the fairgrounds. Some of the racers came and helped, and some of the fans came and helped. But we're going to put a little challenge up between the Great Lakes Dragaway drivers and fans and the Wilmot Raceway drivers and fans. And so we're still working out some of the logistics. We may let them do it on their own ground,
Sure.
And get all the wood brought in and stuff, and then see how many, one group makes and how compared to the other group. Or we may get them on neutral ground.
Okay.
Bring the two groups together and have them do it on neutral ground. So keep tuning in to the Let's Go Racing Motorsports report. Watch the websites of both Wilmot Raceway and Great Lakes Dragaway, because once we get all the logistics worked out, it's a great event. It's a great thing that they do, and they are looking to, John, if you happen to know somebody that might have a shop west of the I that might have a little bit of space, and they're not talking about a lot of room. I mean, what I've got here in my studio could work.
Okay.
To just store the bed frames when they're finished.
Okay.
Until they deliver them. They usually deliver them about 2 weeks after they actually build them.
Sure.
And they kind of put them on, skids.
Yeah.
And a couple of skids, 2-3 skids can take care of all the frames. They're not huge frames.
Okay.
So if you know of anybody that's got some space that would be willing to store the beds once they're done, that would be a great help. They can get in touch with me. You can have them get in touch with me, and we'll see what we could work out.
Sure.
You say they only need them for, like, they usually assemble them on the second Saturday of the month, and then the fourth Saturday of the month is usually when they distribute them.
Okay.
So they just need them for that couple of weeks in between.
Yeah, I can ask around, see if somebody's got some room. Yeah.
Maybe in the back of their race shop. You never know.
Sure. Yeah, I wish I had room in mine, but unfortunately, I got mine full of everything. Yeah.
Well, and I don't think Kathy'd like it if I all of a sudden brought a bunch of bed frames down here.
Yeah.
But it is a great organization, and I want to help them as we move forward in 2025. So, and we're going to have a little fun with that. You and I have talked about this before. There's no reason the racers and the people at Great Lakes Dragaway can't get along with the racers and the people at Wilmot.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And so we're going to do our best to continue to make sure that happens in 2025. It's a big year for Wilmot, 75th anniversary year. How many years for Great Lakes? You got any idea there, John?
Well, they first broke ground in 55. I think they started racing 1955, and then 1956 they had a season going on there. They claim, they're the oldest continuously operating drag strip in the United States that has not closed. So it was 1955, 56 when they started doing it. Initially, I think it was dirt and then gravel. They had put tar on the gravel, and then they finally had got asphalt on the track. But it's kind of neat because one of the original racers, Stan Johnson, that built a couple dragster and a bunch of other things. Neat guy. He was at a luncheon at the Blue Badger that Jerry Wilkham puts on up there for Friends of Broadway Bob, and he's got to be in his 80s because he was there breaking ground in 1955, and he's still got the passion. You can still tell he's just as fired up as he was back then.
Well, that's awesome. That's fantastic, and I mean that's what's going to keep racing going. And hopefully the young people realize what got it going.
Yeah,
and just like I mentioned before, we're going to have Founders Night at Wilmot for the IRA. I mean that's where it began, and now sprint car racing in Wisconsin. I mean, even though you primarily follow drag racing, John, I know you've seen some of the things they're going to be doing in Wisconsin next year.
Yeah,
this high limits thing that Kyle Larson's involved in is unbelievable, and now it's going to come to 141 Speedway in Francis Creek in June, and it's something else to see sprint car racing the way it's grown in Wisconsin. And a lot of that credit goes to Steve Sinclair and the IRA because without them, the base wouldn't be there.
Sure.
And now the base is there, and then of course Steve knows you, John, and he knows Randy, and he's your guy's insurance man.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
So,
he was out there looking at our new grandstands and told us what we had to do to make them happy. Yeah.
There you go. You got to make the insurance guy happy.
You bet.
So, now, one thing that we talked about during the year too, that Kathy and I went out and saw was at the time they were on the clay, the snowmobile drags, and at the time, right after that, we thought they were going to let the grass grow and it was going to become grass drags like we used to have at Lake Geneva Raceway and Great Lakes Dragway and other places from time to time. But now we find out that actually a few weeks after that, they've covered the clay and they're going to try to keep it clay.
Yeah, it's all covered up now with tarps and cement blocks, and they're gonna try to keep it clay. I guess there was some record set at the first event that they had there, so they really liked the track, and it had they liked the amount of shutdown that was there after the track and that. So I guess I haven't heard yet what events they have planned there, but I know they have some more events planned there. And I mean, they put a ton of work getting that thing prepped too. I mean, every day they're out there with the bulldozers and the rollers and everything to get it going. And I was pretty impressed they got it done. And so I think I can only see that growing a little bit more as the word gets out too on how nice that track was.
I'm sure it is because, like I say, Kathy and I went up there, and I mean there was stuff going on the asphalt side, and we saw a little bit of that. But I'll admit, we came to see, see the snowmobiles on the clay because I had actually announced them before on the grass, but it was a lot different to see them on the clay because they were booking.
Yeah, I think the one guy was in 500 feet, 0 to 164 miles an hour in 500 feet, which is. That's way quicker than my car goes in a quarter mile. So that's pretty impressive. Yeah.
That's for sure. So, and I know every now and then, Randy does something and does another improvement or changes something. Anything you know of right now that's in the works, or is he keeping things quiet on what he may do by the time the gates open up in the spring?
Well, they have one guy that's working out there full time doing carpentry work. Today I was out there. We were taking our Great Lakes Dragway signs off the center of the track by the starting line to put them away for the winter. And he was up renovating the inside of the tower, the timing tower up there. And he'll be working out there full time doing a bunch of stuff. I don't know exactly everything that's planned, but I know there's some more stuff that's going to be in the works there. So I'll have to get with Brandy and see what all he plans on doing over the winter. I know they were going to do a couple things, probably grind the track a little bit where there's a transition, that's maintenance that needs to be done, and But I'm sure there's some more stuff coming on that I'm not privy to yet. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Well, that's the racing world. They like to keep you in suspense for a while.
Sure.
Well, even though there's no racing, well, there is sort of racing going on. There's the drifting and that. So updates again available at GreatLakesDragaway.com, I presume.
Yes, and Facebook page at Great Lakes Dragaway on Facebook. They do a lot of updates on there. And like I say, if anybody wants to call, usually get a hold of Randy, but it's 262-878-3783. And if you got any questions, and like I say, the really good deal is the season passes that they have. That's a bargain for anybody that wants to go out there, especially if you have a family and you can go out there. Being open 6 days a week, you can be out there darn near 6 days a week, except for a private event or so. But that really pays for itself.
All righty. So we encourage folks, hey, if you still need that stocking stuffer, hey, there's a perfect one.
Yeah, and the store is open on Sundays from 10 to 4:30, 10:30 to 4:30. So you can go out there and maybe get something too for. It's stocked with shirts and hoodies and all kinds of goodies out there too. If somebody wants something for a Christmas gift, yeah.
Now I heard rumor just before they close that they might even have some of that secret recipe chili available in there too.
I had some of it that Michelle makes, and it was delicious. Yeah, it's good stuff. They usually have her during the winter months, have her cook the chili and have that over in the Torque Alley. The Torque Alley tab is next to the Whole Shot Grill, and it's in the Whole Shot Grill where they'll have the chili. So usually, I'm sure she'll have it fired up for the Pinewood Derby thing on January 1st. And when they have their Winterfest, that's usually at the end of January, where they have the snowmobiles out there on the snow and racing. But best thing to do is look at the website and look at the Facebook page and keep it updated. They do a good job of keeping it updated now.
All righty. Well, John, I definitely appreciate all your help and support this year and bringing us the drag racing side of things. It was fun when Kathy and I came up there and got to see you race.
Yeah.
And I'm going to take you up on it. I know we talked about it, that, there's a second seat in some of those cars, and you're going to get me in one of those cars, and I'm going to find out what it's like to go down the quarter mile there at Great Lakes Dragaway.
Yeah, I've got a second seat in mine and a 5-point harness, and we can at least give you a good launch in the thing and let you see what it's like on a prep track. It's a lot of fun.
All right, that sounds great. I'm looking forward to it, and a very blessed and a Merry Christmas to you and yours. Enjoy it, and the best to you and everybody at Great Lakes Dragaway in 2025. I look forward to being up there from time to time and joining your fine crew that's already on the microphone up there. I'm looking forward to doing that on a few occasions in 2025.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah. Have a Merry Christmas, Mike, you and your family, and stay warm. Hopefully we'll get out of. I was looking at a little long-term weather. It looks like after the next week or so we might have a little bit of a warm-up, so we'll see what happens. Yeah.
There you go. Thanks a lot, John. Take care. God bless.
Yeah, God bless. We'll see you.
Bye-bye. Again, that was John joining us as he did each and every week all season long for our shows, giving us our update at Great Lakes Dragaway. Did want to mention, I want to thank our good friends from Force One Performance, the BJ Irwin and his fine crew. They help support the Let's Go Racing Motorsports Report too. And I will see some of their family this Saturday night, at least plans are, at the event there for the IRA Lightning Sprints. Joining us now, and I'm going to have to find out where he's at, because it's hard to say where he's at, because he travels with the World of Outlaw Late Models, the Case World of Outlaw Late Models. He is the voice of the Case World of Outlaw Late Models. Ruben, great to see you. No, Wilmot's not canceled tonight because of rain. Wilmot would be canceled tonight because of snow and ice, because it's a little chilly up here in the Midwest. And I got to ask you when we start here, where are you?
I know, right? I seem like I'm all over the place all the time. Back home in New Mexico, enjoying some good time with the family, the holidays, and just love being back out here because I don't get to spend much time out here.
No, that's for sure. Well, let's start off with a little bit of a recap of the 2024 season for the Case World of Outlaw Late Models. We mentioned, unfortunately, Mother Nature had different ideas for an appearance at Wilmot. but a date is already set for 2025 at Wilmot, again on a Monday night. So again, fill the folks in a little bit on how the season went. I was able to watch some of your Dirt Nationals coverage, and it was awesome. It was great racing, and your championship went down to the wire.
Yeah, anytime you could go into the final weekend with an awesome championship battle, it's always great for the viewership, for the fans, and to build that drama, right? And it was great. 50 points separated Brandon Sheppard, Bobby Pierce, and Nick Hoffman. And then it got better because Nick Hoffman trailed Sheppard by only 26 the second night. He'd cut that lead by half and unfortunately broke on that third night. But other than that, it was a great weekend at Charlotte. Mike Van Genderen, it was his first time doing the track prep at Charlotte. He did a phenomenal job. The racing was great. World of Outlaws Facebook page right now is doing the top 10 best races of the season, Mike. And Charlotte was in the top 10 because that second night was really, really stellar. But yeah, congratulations to Brandon Sheppard on his championship. And of course, Dustin Sorensen and a great rookie of the year as well.
Yeah, and like you say, I mean, it was a great season. How many different winners did you have on the Case World of Outlaw late models this year?
This year, so it's crazy that you say different winners. I will pull that up right here. But we did not see a brand new winner this year. And on average, Mike, we average a first-time winner 2 times a year. And this year, unfortunately, we did not see a new winner. But this year, we did see a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different winners within 36 races. So that is pretty good. The winners were Bobby Pierce. He ended up with 13, the most on the season. Nick Hoffman, Ryan Gustin, Brian Shirley with 5 apiece, Brandon Sheppard with 3, Devin Moran, Chris Madden with 2, and Hudson O'Neill winning 1 of them.
Well, and Bobby Pierce now has got a connection here in the Midwest. He's from Illinois, correct?
Yeah, he's from Oakwood, Illinois, and this year he finally won that Prairie Dirt Classic, which, by the way, Mike, it's about to go live here at 7 o'clock Central. I'm in Mountain Time right now, but 7 o'clock Central about to hit, and of course, the Prairie Dirt Classic Driven to Dirt on Dirt Vision is about to premiere live. So as soon as fans are done watching us here, they can hop on Dirt Vision and watch that. It is really phenomenal, Mike. The Driven to Dirt pieces on Dirt Vision are phenomenal. They really are spectacular. We have the help of our editor from CBS Sports Network. He does a great job and Dirt Vision, and we do a bunch of Driven to Dirt pieces. They're documentaries about half hour each about different events. We did one on Brandon Sheppard. You can go check it out. But yeah, today, Prairie Dirt Classic, and Bobby got that done. He's from Illinois, and he had never won that. His dad was a 5-time PDC champion, and he finally won that on the final lap after having to come from the rear twice.
Yeah, and I actually caught the end of that when I got home that night and saw it happen on Dirt Vision. And again, we just gave folks a little bit of an idea locally here. If they're looking for a drag racing gift for a stocking stuffer, you get Great Lakes Dragaway season pass. Well, I'll tell you what, another good stocking stuffer is a Dirt Vision subscription, right?
Absolutely. I mean, the greatest shows on dirt, all on one platform, Mike, and we really do mean that, right? The World of Outlaw, NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series, the best of the best sprint car drivers. They have been for the long time. How Johnny Gibson says, often imitated, never duplicated. They are the best. And in person, I'm a late model guy to the bone, right? I will go watch late models and modifieds, fenders to the day I die. But, man, those guys really get it on in the sprint cars. And, of course, us with the World of Outlaw late models, Super Dirt Car Series, Summer Nationals. You talk about Wilmot. Summer Nationals used to go to Wilmot, and I think they still go. And, of course, the Super Dirt Car Series and America's Weekly Best Racetracks. You got midgets and ASCS, a lot of great things. Great stocking stuffer if you want Dirt Vision.
That's for sure. Well, and we also talked about when we were on during the summer, 5-star race car bodies, which is based right in Twin Lakes,
Yes.
Wisconsin. Daniel Sanchez and then Carl and Corey Schultz do a great job up there in the business that was begun by Fran Preste years ago. But they do a lot for the Case World of Outlaw late models. A lot of the bodies are actually done by their dirt division, no pun intended.
Yeah, and absolutely. And of course, MD3, big supporters of the World of Outlaws Case late models. They sponsor our Rookie of the Year program, $10,000 to win the Rookie of the Year. But not only does the winner go away with money. We also pay second and third. It's a $15,000 purse for the MD3 Rookie of the Year. And again, congratulations to Dustin Sorensen on that. But yeah, MD3, we looked forward to catering them and having them at Wilmot. We were really looking forward to it because we had a great weekend at Fairbury, how we always do. Get ready for Cedar Lake, and you had a fun racetrack in the middle, which is Wilmot. I unfortunately, Mike, went to Wilmot and we got rained out. That was 2018. I was doing Summer Nationals. We were doing the drivers meeting. I'm standing right next to Billy Moyer Sr. and Sam Driggers, a dirt car director, to my right, and it just starts pouring down. And it's unfortunate because they called the race. I went up to the tower, set up, I was ready, and man, we got rained out. So I'm hoping this year, Mike, July 28th, mark your calendars. I'm ready for my first ever laps around that place.
Yeah. Well, third time will be the charm, right, Ruben?
Absolutely. Keep your fingers crossed. God, I hope so.
We can put that in our Santa wish list
Yes.
for 2025. He can even delay delivery till July. That's okay. Just give us 80 degrees or even 70 degrees and some sunshine, and we'll all be happy.
Absolutely.
Sure.
I will take that all day. Absolutely. We're looking forward to it. And I know you guys are excited, but yeah, MD3, I know last year, I think they had about almost 250 guests that were about to come and out there and enjoy the races. So we look forward to having them and meeting them and hopefully talking in front of them and giving them a good product on the racetrack.
That's for sure. And again, they've continued to do upgrades at Wilmot. A few years ago, 2 years ago, it was the grandstands and some infield work. Well, there's been more infield work done. And now I was talking with Chris Klemko just a couple of weeks ago, and he said that the work is progressing quite well. Now that the weather hit, I hope they got most of it done, if not all of it done, putting in new pit bleachers. There is going to be a new pit grandstand. They are actually the grandstands that used to be on the backstretch at the now closed Rockford Speedway. And they were already installing them back in October. When I was at the track one day, they had already gotten the frames up. They just hadn't put the seats in quite yet, but they were trying to get all that done before the weather hit. And it's going to be a room for about 1,000 to sit in the grandstand in the pits.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and amazingly enough, when I was talking with Chris Klemko about it, I said, well, are we going to lose any pit stalls because of that? He goes, no, we're actually gaining 8. And I was like, oh, okay. And
worked out great.
That sounds like a win-win there.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, we want to see those grandstands packed July 28th. It's a Monday night. But I'm telling you, with the World of Outlaws, our race director, Mitchell Hedstrom, and series director, Steve Francis, the whole crew, all in general, they do a great job making sure it's a fast-paced show, and especially when we know it's a weeknight. We understand everyone has to work Monday mornings, and Mondays, we drag, and Tuesday morning comes quick, you know what I mean? So, I promise you we are going to be on the fuel, and especially because we have to do a quick turnaround and be at Cedar Lake on Wednesday for setup, for the USA Nationals, which, by the way, now pays $100,000 this year as well. So if you're a race fan in Wilmot, Wisconsin, it is a great time to be a race fan because we're getting ready to go to Wisconsin in between the Prairie Dirt Classic and the USA Nationals. It just don't get better than that.
No, that's for sure. That's for sure. Well, it's the off season, but there's never really an off season in racing.
Yeah.
You and I know that. But any news on the late model front for the Case World of Outlaw late models? Anybody changing teams? Anybody new that we might see in 2025 at Wilmot and the other venues that the World of Outlaw late models hit?
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's some things that unfortunately I can't say just quite yet, but there's obviously some stuff out there that is definitely confirmed. But obviously Brandon Shepard, our defending champion now, unfortunately will not be a defending champion. He's obviously going to Rocket One, and they're going to pursue the Lucas Oil Series. So unfortunately, Shepard will not return in the B5, but of course, Shepard will be running the Prairie Dirt Classic, and he will be running the USA Nationals, and for sure Wilmot, right? It's in between, it get extra money. So Lucas Oil is obviously off during that time. So Brandon Shepard may not be running for World of Outlaw Championship next year, but he will definitely be there for the big crown jewels with us, and of course at Wilmot. One thing I want to point out, Mike, obviously the World of Outlaw late models, it's big because you just pay attention, right? The up and coming rising stars. I just talked about Dustin Sorensen winning his Rookie of the Year. He's phenomenal. He came short of his first win at Brownstown, earlier this year. But I want to talk about the up and coming rising stars that are returning this year. Ryan Gustin. Ryan Gustin is a phenomenal racer. Marshalltown, Iowa driver. He ran a Longhorn. At the beginning of this year, he switched teams from TriStar to Cooney Motorsports, went into from a Rocket to a Longhorn. Then they switched to Infinities. He now has a notebook on these Infinity cars. He's really good. He racked up 5 wins, as we mentioned earlier. He's going to be one to watch. I'm telling you, we had a good championship battle this year, Mike, but I have that gut feeling. And I'm telling you, when I have the gut feeling, it always comes true, man. And we're going to have a really good points battle next year. Ryan Gustin's on a heater right now. Nick Hoffman, second year with the World of Outlaws, was in contention for a championship in that Ty Torg number 9. He's going into year 3 with Ty Torg. Ty Torg and him have a very good connection. Nick Hoffman has a really good team. He just built a brand new shop in North Carolina. That is going to be a well-oiled, functioning team when they hit the ground running in Volusia, a track that he's been very successful at. And of course, Brian Shirley, he switched to Longhorn towards the end of the season, won 5 of the last 7 or some stat. I got to go back and look at the number, but Brian Shirley went on a tear there at the end. And of course, he's been with Bob Cullen for the longest time. Those 3 drivers have already confirmed coming back next year. And of course, Bobby Pierce, I know Pierce talked about coming back as well in the 32. He's going to be really tough to beat, right? I mean, Bobby was at the top of his game, won last year. This year, unfortunately, the circumstance that happened at the beginning of the year, but still came back. It's going to be a phenomenal outlaw season when it comes to points. And the Rookie of the Year battle is going to be great. We already have Daniel Adams signed up, the 75 car. And I know there's some talks of other teams. Unfortunately, I can't talk a lot about a lot of guys that haven't confirmed yet, but as soon as they do confirm, you will see the news, and we have a lot of great things in the works with the World of Outlaws.
Well, that's for sure. And again, late model, the Wilmot is really looking forward. The fan base is, everybody is, to just, it's been a while since we've had a big time late model show there. Nothing against the Dirt Kings. The Dirt Kings do a great job. Yeah. We're going to see some of those guys running at Wilmot in July, again.
Yeah, I love seeing those guys. Dirt Kings is great. Nick Anvelink, right? 6-time champ now, 7-time champ of Dirt Kings. He does a great job. Jake Tim, yeah, he may be USMTS, but he ran a lot of that Dirt King stuff, and Jake Tim has really become a good late model driver. And you have a lot of them guys from up north. I really do like Taylor Scheffler. He's a good Wisconsin driver. Mitch McGrath, I love those guys, and I hope they do compete with the Outlaws when we go up there. Your Paul Parker, them guys. It's always good to go up there and see a lot of them Dirt King guys. It's a great regional series. But yeah, the World of Outlaws, Mike, is going to be out of this world when we go to Wilmot. When I travel track to track, we'll go to lunch, before we get to the racetrack. And sometimes we'll hear a radio commercial or we'll see banners around town. And I'm telling you, when we see that, we could just automatically feel the buzz. On social media, fans are always saying, man, World of Outlaws coming, World of Outlaws coming. And fans will be tagging you and stuff. They did that at Highland. They did that at in Pennsylvania, Marion Center. And I'm telling you, those places, Mike, they did it at Boot Hill, and there was a line of 100 people in hot laps still trying to get in. So, Mike, I have that gut feeling also that buzz is at Wilmot. And I'm excited to get to Wilmot because I know it's going to be standing room only, especially with those great bleachers that you guys just installed.
Yeah, and now I believe advance tickets are already available, correct? They can go to the World of Outlaw, the Case World of Outlaw website, and already get those advance tickets for the Christmas present underneath the tree.
Hey, that's a great Christmas present. We actually just did a social post today on World of Outlaws Late Models Facebook page. Go scroll down through our Facebook page, and we just posted the links to purchase those tickets. And Mike, of course, next year, we just raised the ante with the Outlaws. It's a great time to be a late model driver, and especially with the World of Outlaw Case late models. At the top, at the championship, we may not pay the most, but I'm telling you, we pay best through the field. It's enormous. This year, there's over $1 million in the points fund alone. There's a 20% increase from last year to this year, when it was only a 16% increase from last year to this year. Now, this year to next year is a 20% increase. And, of course, a series high of $225,000 to the 2025 champion, Mike. And that doesn't include winner circle bonus money, which, by the way, we just increased our winner circle bonus money. We're not doing it monthly. We're doing it by track. Every time the hauler leaves, you get $1,000, for per different track. If you're one of the top 5, top 6 teams, which is really big, it's actually more than 30 grand at the end of the day for the top teams. So you add that on top of the $225,000 prize and all our other great contingency programs and things, Mike, the paychecks are really good. And with the World of Outlaws, we have the industry leading payouts. So the payouts through the field are phenomenal. You go back to talking about those Dirt King guys. I know a lot of them guys, Paul Parker, I keep in touch with, text message, and Mitch McGrath, and those guys that do race with us time to time when we're around the area in Illinois, and they love the payouts, and that's why they come. I mean, Mike, on a Monday night, I would have to go through my notes. I'm not sure what it is to win on Wilmot, but it's probably going to be $1,500 just to start the feature. I mean, $1,500 for a Monday night of fun. Hey, you can't beat that.
No, that's for sure. And of course, we'll get Brad Miller on, I'm sure, at some point too. He loves driving anything with 4 wheels and a steering wheel. I mean, he runs asphalt at Slinger. He runs with the Big 8 series, and then all of a sudden he shows up with a Dirt King late model, and he was all set last summer in July, and I had even gotten him on the show ahead of time, and he was looking forward to it. But so he's going to show up too, and it's going to be a lot of fun. We encourage folks to come out on that Monday night to Wilmot, and it's going to be part of the 75th anniversary season. It's going to be one of the crown jewels of that 75th anniversary season. And there's things that Chris Klemko and myself and Jenny are working on kind of behind the scenes, some different things we're going to do for the 75th year. And you never know who we might get to show up on that Monday in July. You'll just have to wait and see. Stay tuned, as they like to say.
Hey, you never know, especially with the World of Outlaws in town. You never know.
That's for sure. So, well, we still got a little bit of time here, and I know some folks might have joined us when you were on with me during the summer. Tell the folks a little bit how Ruben got going in announcing and how he got going with the World of Outlaw, the Case World of Outlaw late models.
Yeah, so I started announcing at the age of 12 years old at Southern New Mexico Speedway in Las Cruces, New Mexico, and then El Paso Speedway Park in El Paso, Texas. I did El Paso Friday nights, and I did Southern New Mexico Speedway Saturday nights. So Brian Holbert, who is now the voice of USAC, he used to do ASCS. He did ASCS for 12 years. Well, anyway, before he did all that, he was the voice at both El Paso and Southern New Mexico Speedway. So we ended up meeting up, and he gave me an opportunity to announce a trophy dash. And next thing you know, he broke into a speech. The final race of 2011, Steve Kinzer ended up winning that race. Royal Jones owns it. Royal Jones, the owner of Mesilla Valley Transportation, supports so many great drivers. And Steve Kinzer, one of them, he always went and raced. And it was ASCS National Tour race. I'll never forget. Brian Holbert interviews Kinzer, and at the end of it, he's saying, well, race fans, I got good news and I got bad news. The good news is the ASCS National Tour has picked me up to be their touring announcer. The sad news is I'm no longer with you. So everyone's all really sad. And I'm like, yeah, it's my turn. So I ended up getting a Facebook at that off season, and I ended up contacting Royal Jones, and he gave me the opportunity. I sat down. Actually, you know what's crazy, Mike? Today's December 2nd. I actually sat down with him on December 4th, 2011. So it's about to the date here. And I met with him, and he went over all the rules. 12-year-old kid, Mike, I was making $50 a night to announce Friday night and $50 on Saturday night. And I came a long way from there. He gave me, of course, a raise after a year, and after 2 years, ended up making good money both nights. And then my freshman year of high school, my actual job, Mike, this is where my passion for late model racing came. Garrett Alberson, Garrett Alberson, number 58 late model. I was in his wedding. I'm really close with the Alberson family. I love them to death. And he actually, in Las Cruces, he was driving for Dave Dietz at the time, and I worked all 4 years at the shop with him. I would just start by doing tires. I would sipe tires, I would groove tires, and that's where he started me, the bead blocks and all that. And then next thing you know, I started helping washing the car. And then he got me on suspension, changing the gears, the top gear, you know what I mean, the small gear, the quick changes, changing oil on the race car, getting the filter, taking the filter off, cutting the filter with a knife, and checking for oils, for metal shavings. And I did all those great things. We changed motors and all that stuff. It was a lot of fun. He taught me a lot. So that's where my passion came from. So at the end of it, we'd actually go back to his place and watch the Summer Nationals on Dirt on Dirt. We would go watch the highlights. We would go watch World of Outlaws races on Dirt on Dirt. And long story short, Rick Eshelman, 2014, I had met him in Tucson, and Rick Eshelman and I stayed in touch, and he met me in December 18th. I want to say it was December 17th, 2017. And he stopped by. And he's like, hey, let's go have lunch. And we went to go have lunch. He said, man, I really need to find a replacement for the Summer Nationals. He's like, would you love to do it? And I'm like, man, I would love to do that. You know what I mean? So, unfortunately, not the way I wanted the outlaw position. But after 5 years of doing Summer Nationals, I love the Summer Nationals, and I still love it to this day. But, I was the first pit reporter. Rick Eshelman helped me become the pit reporter in 2020 when Dirt Vision introduced pit reporters to their broadcast. And I pit reported for 2.5 years while still doing Summer Nationals. So I never got to do a full season because I had to skip the summer events. But nonetheless, it was great experience. And unfortunately, it's all glory to Rick, Rick Eshelman and all, not the way I wanted the position, but, of course, him passing away. And, I just, thank God I was there and had the ability to step in and take over that position. So that's how I'm with the World of Outlaws now. But it's just been a dream come true, and just carrying his legacy and just keep on going. But yes, Mike, it's a dream come true. It's an honor to work with people like you. I can't wait to work with you. You're I see it right there, Hall of Fame voice, and you look like a very good class act. So I just get to meet great people like you all over the country and get to do what I love to do. As I say, I don't work a day in my life, Mike, because what I'm doing is what I love.
Well, you're absolutely right. We are very fortunate to have that ability. Rather than getting up and dreading going to work, we're excited and looking forward to going to work. And even though we've got to wait now, the first races around here, April 26th, is the Glenn Hefner Memorial up at Beaver Dam. Dirt King late models are on the program, along with the bumper to bumper IRA 410 sprint cars and the Badger midgets. You got 3 distinct groups there that are going to open up the season in Wisconsin on the dirt on that Saturday night. So I'm looking forward to being up there for that event and at least taking it in. And then I've got my car show coming up on May 4th. We'd love to have the World of Outlaws. If you guys want to send me a banner or anything about Wilmot's event, get it to me. We'd be glad to pass that kind of stuff out on May 4th for you. And if I can get a dirt late model that's free that Sunday afternoon to come down, I mean, that's great too. The invitation is definitely there. And Ruben, I heard a lot of good things about you before last year, and you have just been fantastic to work with on the show here. I appreciate you taking the time out there in New Mexico. And it's much warmer. Send a little of that warm air here, because I got to finish putting up our Christmas lights tomorrow. I keep putting it off because it's so cold, but I can't put it off too much more, or Christmas is going to be here and it's going to be time to take them down.
No, I hear you. I love Wisconsin. I do. I love me some good cheese curds, and I love me, the good warm weather in the summer. But man, I could not live in Wisconsin during these times. I give you my best warmth wishes, because I do not like the cold at all. And no, but I love Wisconsin. Can't wait to get back there in the summer. But yes, put those Christmas lights up. It's already going to be December 3rd, Mike. and by the time you know it, we're already going to be at Wilmot with the Outlaws. The time flies.
There you go. That's for sure. And you and I will connect, because when you get in town, I'd be glad to show you some of the finer spots around Wilmot, where you can get some pretty good cheese curds.
Oh, perfect. You got me a cheese curd.
All right. Well, again, Ruben, I really appreciate you taking the time today and being part of our last show of 2024. Looking forward to 2025 and being with you in July at Wilmot, and hopefully that'll all work out and Mother Nature will cooperate this time. We'll say some extra prayers. And until we see you next time, Ruben, really appreciate it, and the best to you and your family for a blessed Merry Christmas and a wonderful New Year.
I really appreciate the positive comments. You're a class act. I can't wait to work with you. Thank you for having me on. Thank you to all the great race fans that are tuning in live now or tuning in later and watching this later. We appreciate you all, taking the time out of your day to watch us and listen to this. And Mike, thank you again for having me. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. And hey, by the time you know it, we'll be saying Happy Race Day together at Wilmot.
You got it, Ruben. Thank you very much. God bless now. Bye-bye. That's going to wrap it up for 2024. Again, thanks to you. As Ruben said, I can't say it much better. Thanks to you, the fans out there that have been tuning in with us during 2024. You helped to bring this show on each and every week when we're on, and monthly now during the off season. We'll be back again on Monday, January 6th. With a new show for 2025. And I'm sure we'll have some announcements regarding scheduling at that time as well. So until we see you next time, this is Mike Babicz wishing you a pleasant evening, the best of tomorrows. Remember, kids, just say no to drugs. Thanks. Good night. God bless. Let's go racing, everybody, and Merry Christmas. Thank you.